Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you are doing well and have started the new year easefully, peacefully, calmly. Are those some words that we could use for the new year, or just replace with whatever words that you would like for the year? Now, I'm going to chat today with our amazing teacher, Vanessa. Now, let me see if I can get her in. Is Vanessa going to be able to join us? Let's see. Excuse the tech hit. Hey,
Hello,
Vanessa.
hi,
How are
Happy New
you?
Year.
Yeah, indeed. Happy New Year. And how are you,
Good.
Vanessa? How does this new year find
Really,
you?
really good. How are you doing?
Yeah, very good. Very good. I feel like today is the real
Yeah,
start of the new year for some reason. I think it always takes a few seconds. Now, hang on, we've got a big epic game of tug of war going on back.
they're so
You're going
cute.
to have to stop that.
Yeah,
It's been raining constantly, so I've been just doing a lot of yoga and we haven't been walking, and they are complaining about it. Now, how are you feeling? Because you're pregnant.
yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been better, but I'm coping. I am changing my practice. Like the practice changes every day, really. I am at the stage where, yeah, there are lots of adaptation I need to take, but yeah, it's good. It's making yoga is
Good.
making a big, big impact on my back health. So I'm really happy I got the practice. Definitely. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. How many months are you now?
I'm towards the end, so seventh month. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's coming.
Wow, you're
It's
feeling it.
coming.
Your
My
baby
body's
is.
feeling it. But yeah,
Yeah. Oh, good for you. And actually, I guess it's a really nice teacher because in life, like we should be adapting our
absolutely.
practices every day. But then when you have something as big as a growing baby in you, you
Yeah,
cannot not adapt your
absolutely.
practice.
You know, it's like you can learn all the theory, you can read all the books, but you need to try some things on your body. And yeah, it's good. It's great learning tool.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear. Well, fingers crossed for the next couple of
Thank
months,
you.
Vanessa. And what I wanted to talk to you about is starting a yoga practice because you're doing a really lovely
Yes.
beginner's course with us starting Monday
Yeah.
evening, which I just can't wait. And first of all, I just wanted to get a little brief overview. What is it that people can expect? What kind of people do you think that this would be for,
Yeah.
this course?
So yes, it's called beginners, but it's really, since that's the beginning of the year, it's like a great way for everyone, even with people with a regular practice, to get back to the basics, to refresh the foundations, and to maybe explore a new variation they haven't thought about, to just accommodate a practice to their body. So this is going to be great for completely beginners that have never done yoga before, just to get clarity and break down some of the most common postures, hopefully trying to clarify as many doubts as possible regarding different ways of aligning them or to explore the postures. We will go through some classical breathing techniques as well, so it's going to be asana and pranayama practice as well. And we break down basically every week postures around the theme. So we're going to begin with the hips, lots of like hip opening position, stretches for the legs that feel always really good. Then we're going to work on improving balance and maybe tricks that can create a little bit more confidence around balancing, standing. Then we're going to work on heart opening postures. So especially because as we grow, as we age, the back might feel sensitive and we may develop fear around back bending. And so just going through some, again, variations, but also progressions to make sure we strengthen the body and prepare it for back bending in a safe way. And then we will also, which is super, super important, break down sun salutations. And so put everything in a flow. Because yeah, in a vinyasa class, you always have sun salutation appearing. And one of the most frequent questions is, what am I meant to do here? Because we never have the time to really go through them properly. So it's a great way to give, again, people a little bit more clarity around different ways of practicing sun salutations and how to adapt, again, in a way that feels good.
Oh, that's so nice. And that's something that I think that people could then take into the regular class that they go to And that would kind of help to skill somebody up and make them feel more confident when they want to go to a studio
Absolutely.
or a class.
Yeah, again, it's great to practice online, but if it happens that maybe you jump in a group, and sometimes if we are not quite sure about what to do, we can feel a bit intimidated. And instead, once you have done this like 4 weeks course, you have an understanding. Whatever the teacher throws at you, you have an understanding of how you can adapt, how you can follow in your own pace with your own variations. But definitely it just opens up so many possibilities for you to, again, follow different teachers or go through different classes with a little bit less stress and fear.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, I've received feedback from a few people actually saying that they were too nervous to go to a yoga studio. But after they'd done our classes, they then built up the confidence and they felt okay to do that. So I think this kind of thing would be a really nice way if somebody is looking to get into doing
Absolutely.
yoga.
And again, even if you have already a practice, but maybe you took a little break over Christmas, or you just want a little bit more accountability and maybe, you know, a sense of community, it's just a nice way to get started again and get in the flow.
Yeah, I agree. I think having that beginner's mindset is so important. It's like I've been practicing for nearly 3 decades, but like I always learn something, like always. And it's like, and also it's like the further the decades go on, the more simple my practice becomes, which is quite interesting. And I really like that. So for me, it really, like the thought of having a basics course is actually just liberating. It's wonderful.
Yeah. It takes away the pressure to do complicated things, and it's just enjoying the simple things. And I know, I understand what you mean. I'm experiencing the same process now where I need to keep things simple, and that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really nice. We've had a few lovely questions from our community, which I'm going to read out for you, Vanessa, if you're okay with that. Brill. Here's somebody. I really struggle to keep my breath in time with the instructions. How important is it?
It's a great question. It's a great question. So I would say there are different schools of thoughts. There are some styles of yoga where the breath is quite regimented and the teacher is invited to all go at the same time with the same breath. Like you think about a rocket class, this is this kind of collective feeling of OGI breath that has to come together to be loud and strong. So it can be like interesting and fun to do. There are more contemporary views and I kind of go towards that direction where the idea is that the most important thing is that you're breathing. Don't worry about following exactly the same pace of the teacher or the rest of the group. If you think about even anatomically, our lungs capacity is very different. Like think about someone 2 meters tall, someone who is shorter, or like, you know, different ages. Naturally, our lungs are different. So for some of us, following the same rhythm of the breath can be like forced and uncomfortable. So I would say don't worry too much, because again, now we have a vision that the breath is something that has to nourish you, that has to come spontaneous. It can be a good reminder if you're someone that forgets sometimes to breathe and hold it, to just sometimes tune in, but I wouldn't stress too much. Personally, maybe if it makes sense for you, I would try sometimes to use the instruction of the breath, maybe in sun salutations or movement where there is this sense of inhalation lifting up, exhalation going down, just having a feeling, because it makes sense also in terms of like a yogic perspective. The inhalation is something that lifts your energy up, the exhalation is something more receptive that brings you down. So maybe you can experiment a few times during the session to see how it goes to follow an instruction, but I wouldn't stress too much. Then once you become super confident, what I tend to do sometimes is to try to follow the rhythm, but more as a way to stretch my comfort zone and maybe train my lungs. But I don't take it like, if I don't do it, I'm not doing the yoga practice. It's more like, if I want to train my lungs a little bit and see how it goes, I follow. If it makes me feel stressed, or I go into hyperventilation, or it just doesn't work for me, I can step out and follow my own breath. So I wouldn't, my perspective is don't worry too much and use the breath as you're training a muscle. You can train it, but if it doesn't work, you can go back to your own, I feel. What do you think?
I love that. I love that. And that question really resonates with me because when I started, I was trained in Ashtanga, and there, it's the same. It's very regimented when to inhale and
Mm,
exhale. And I did used to find that quite stressful. So, as you say, things have like slightly changed in the last 10
mm,
years or more, maybe. That now we tend to feel of a relaxed
mhm.
breath is a nice thing. And actually,
Yeah,
that's taken the pressure off my practice so much.
yeah,
But having
yeah.
the reminder to breathe, because otherwise, it's weird, isn't it? That we can have a whole yoga class where the instructor is telling us, hands up, hands down, but we can forget to breathe in the whole thing. So humans. So it's good to remember. Now, this is another really great question. Thank you for that,
Thank you.
Vanessa. I'm overweight and I find a lot of the basic poses are hard to get into, which is disheartening.
Mm,
What can I do?
yeah,
Great question. I get a lot
yeah.
of people who's
I think that's a useful question in
yeah,
general, because as a reminder for every one of us to that really the practice is very much shaped by our anatomy and the length of our limbs, our volumes, for everyone really. In
yeah,
the case of like maybe feeling that the volume, we kind of don't have enough space, we feel uncomfortable in position that maybe are very close to the floor, I would definitely recommend to try and integrate as many props as possible, like bricks to keep the floor a bit more space from the floor, or transition at the wall, for instance, downward facing dog at the wall, so changing relationship to gravity, or use a chair to stay a bit more upright. So if the problem is really in terms of like spaciousness and needing more space, maybe even widening the stance when we do a forward fold, and I'm feeling this right now on my body, I cannot
yeah,
fold
yeah,
as I
right.
used to do, so I just need more space. I just want to keep my legs wider in all the positions really, because the compression is uncomfortable. I'm using bricks more often. I'm using chairs to be a bit more upright. So I think
Mm,
the environment and the tools you can use can give you more
yeah,
space in that case.
yeah.
So I think that's the
That's,
first thing that comes to my mind. And, or, I mean, this is really for everyone. Yesterday I was teaching to a man really keen into yoga, but we were doing some binds, and he's got like a broad chest, very muscular arms, and binding for him is not possible as it is. But again, no stress. You can try and use a strap, and you got a little bit extra space. Sometimes it's really just how muscular we are, the length of our limbs that will make some postures more accessible or not. And so I think using props really, really
yeah.
helps. For this specific person, if he's listening, she's listening, or he is listening, if you want to have a look maybe at body positive yoga or body neutral yoga, all those like big like yes, trends of yoga where we try to incorporate as many props as possible, again, to accommodate different body types. That could be a good way to start.
Yes,
Sometimes it's difficult to come up with ideas to integrate the props, but maybe looking at people that teach
yeah.
that specific style of
I
practice.
think Yeah, that's a really good idea. And the other thing is, I think if they were to join you, and in fact, if anybody who has got a body who doesn't sort of seem to fit into the normal yoga mold was to join the
Yeah,
live course, because it's going to be a nice intimate group. It's not just sort of like an on-demand class where you just sort of plow on.
absolutely.
It's like you'll be able to give
Yeah,
suggestions
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
and I think that's
Yeah.
a nice thing about doing it
Yeah,
live.
and trying to experiment together. Like I can offer some ideas. How does it feel doing this? How does it feel doing
Mhm.
that? Sometimes, yes, we need to be creative, but this is for
Yeah.
everyone really, because we're all different bodies. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And another plug for Move One Life, we're going to run a workshop which is about
Oh, nice.
inclusive yoga, and that's in a couple of weeks. So look out for that. If again, it's for all of us because
Yeah.
inclusive includes everybody.
Sure.
Okay, next one. I want to do yoga. Oh, this is good, but I struggle to get out of bed in the morning, especially when it's
Oh,
dark. How can I become a morning
okay.
person? I feel your
Okay, that's
pain.
a big question. We should have sleep experts coming in, but I would say maybe that's a controversial opinion, but I don't know how important it is for this person to be a morning person, but really also taking a step back, let's honor our cycles, circadian rhythms.
Yeah.
You know, there is this like big trend of thinking if you're a morning person, you're morally superior, or you need to wake up at 5 and get everything done in the morning. I personally don't practice it as the first thing in the morning. I need to wake up maybe 10 a.m. my body starts to function properly. We'll all have different rhythms. So I would say don't stress too much, because maybe your body and mind work better in the evening for yoga. So it's not like necessary, I think, in my opinion, to wake up early in the morning to get your workout or your practice done. Maybe there are better times during the day where you can fit it. Obviously, if that's the only time of the day where you can do it, because maybe you have a very busy schedule, you've got family and everything, and really morning is super fundamental for you. Obviously, like, look at your sleep hygiene, try to make sure, you know, you go to bed earlier, avoiding lights and distractions, maybe creating a relaxation routine so you can go to sleep a bit earlier, see if it works. And make sure also the environment is ready for the morning. Like, have your mat ready already, your clothes.
Yes.
Choose the practice you're going to do so you don't have to spend 15 minutes to decide what to do. It's a crazy environment that in the morning is already ready. You don't have to do anything. Even, again, search for someone that can give you accountability. Maybe, you know, someone, knowing that someone on the other side is waiting for you to join, or you do it with someone can help. So if that's really necessary. Otherwise, again, I wouldn't stress too much with the practice. It has to work for you. Your routine has to work for you, basically. The best routine is the one that works for you, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely wholeheartedly agree. And I think especially we're in the deepest time of midwinter. Like, all the animals are hibernating.
Exactly.
Like, there's nothing going on. Like, there's nothing in nature that says we should be going out when it's dark. So if you can, have a lion and be kind to yourself.
Yeah, I mean, again, we all function differently, so it's nothing. There is nothing wrong with not getting up, especially when it's dark.
And your live course is 7 p.m.
You got time.
So
you got time.
So maybe that will fit into the schedule.
Yeah.
Hopefully. The last question. I have old injuries and I worry that I might make them worse. Is there a way to make sure I'm being safe? Another good question.
Yeah, definitely. If you got injury, it can be scary to get into the practice. That's why I think basic courses, slow the breakdown postures can really help to get the confidence again and to test. I would say just common sense thing to take it super slow and make sure you build up the kind of interoception, the capacity to listen to your body, to notice what feels dodgy, to learn the difference between pain that signifies there is a threat on the body from like safe discomfort. I'm maybe using my muscles in a different way, and it's not that obvious. It takes some time to kind of distinguish what is pain, what is just safe discomfort. And you only really understand it if you can slow down and to listen to your body. I think it can also be useful to really learn some basic alignment. I'm not like obsessed with alignment. I don't believe if your knee goes past your toes or whatever in a lunge, you're gonna break your knee. Actually, we need stimulation in all directions, but in cases where you need to minimize the stress in the ligaments, maybe you're recovering, kind of knowing what is the position where your body has less stress, less impact, build up the strength, and then explore the range around it can be a good idea. So kind of having a sort of an idea of where my body is doing a bit less work, is struggling a bit less, with less load, with less like torsion. And then once I build up the strength and the confidence there, I can move on. So yes, I think going back to basics in this case is really important. Not only like to build up again interoception, but also to learn what is the safest option. And then from there you can break away and do all the crazy things you want. But at the beginning, keep it simple. I think.
Yeah, I agree. And that might be another use for a basics class, is if you're coming back after a period of illness or injury, and also having a teacher being there where you can ask questions and you can say, I'm not sure how this feels. Is there a modification for this? And having a teacher to be able to give you a modification if there's something which you're concerned about.
Yeah.
That might be a nice thing. Lizzie Rumont also did a really nice course on movement for modern life, which is a body intelligence course when she was coming back to her practice after a
Yeah.
serious operation. And it's nice to just kind of see again, it is that introspection. It's that sense of how do I feel on the inside and what feels safe for me right now and what feels
Yeah.
doable.
Yeah, and obviously there's a huge conversation around pain and fear. Like pain is not just really because there is something wrong anatomically, also the nervous system. Is it feeling safe? Is it feeling threatening? So also, you know, the way you breathe, the way you kind of show up for yourself. If you do it with kindness, if you use kind of techniques to calm the nervous system down, maybe the sensation of pain can be lessened and you can build up confidence more easily. But yeah, that's a kind of a big topic. But I would say, yes, what you said.
Yeah, exactly. We both agree. Oh, Vanessa, it's always so nice to chat. And so your practice is so deep and wide ranging. I know that's something that people really enjoy about your classes on Movement for Modern Life, because you teach somatics, yoga, Pilates, things that in a way which is very, in a very thoughtful way, basically. It's not just like, have some vinyasa, people. There is vinyasa, but everything is very mindfully curated. And having, I think, and that's kind of what makes to me, this is what makes a great teacher great. It's really having that person who's thinking deeply about each step, each thing, each sequence, and has taken the time to practice for yourself in your own body, but taken the time as well to really think about what it is that you're doing. And that's the thing. Yeah, it makes you extraordinary teacher,
Thank
Vanessa.
you so much.
So,
Really kind.
and your practices really touch so many of our people. I get so many people on Movement from Modern Life who just love your classes. They're just some of them are really tough, don't get me wrong. Like they can be really physically tricky, but also done in a way that's very kind and gentle. So you never feel that you're there at the front being like, yeah, just one more chaturanga. Like, it's all really mindful and conscious. Yeah, you have totally agree, Foddick. Yes.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, you have a lot of fans, and you truly are an exceptional teacher.
Thank you so much.
It just makes a massive difference. So
Thank you. And
thank
it's a
you.
pleasure to be part of the family.
Oh, well, keep doing what you're doing, and I just can't wait for for class Monday night. So it's a 4-week course, back to basics, Monday 7 p.m. UK time. So that should be a nice time to sort of ease us into the evening. Nothing that's going to jangle us too
Nothing
much.
fast, nothing crazy. It's just getting back to our body, getting the
Back to our body. Yeah, and it's a nice way to start the new year. And of course, the thing in a live class, we've talked about the ability to ask questions, to get some modifications, maybe illness, injury, body type, whatever, and also community, just doing things together, like, because everything's better done together.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Thank you
Vanessa,
so
thank you.
much,
Thank
Kat.
you so much. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. We've got some great people here. I see you all. And thank you very, very much. And hopefully see you Monday evening.
Thank you.
Okay, much love.
Bye, bye, bye.
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 Bye.